What's the most disturbing secret you've discovered about someone close to you? One night as a kid I heard my parents having an explosive argument in their bedroom which suddenly went quiet. I found out during a drunk phone call from my mother. It was because she attempted to shoot my father in the face with a 303, but it didn't go off when she pulled the trigger as there were no bullets. They were both horrified and just stared at each other. Apparently, they're still together. My great-grandmother was married to 3 different people at the same time. The men were from different branches of the military. She was collecting all 3 of their paychecks at a time. My coworker lets her dog hump her leg every morning till he releases, while she has her coffee, which has stayed with me since I heard it. I can't think of anything else when they talk to me. My best friend confessed to me that he has a child as a result of a long-distance affair in another country. He has 3 kids in the US and is in a toxic marriage. His wife doesn't know. Found a scrapbook of my mom and a guy I didn't recognize from her immediately post-college days. Turns out he was a long-term boyfriend of hers who killed himself when she broke up with him. My grandfather found his body. I learned at age 20, by finding the book Shrine to him. My grandfather beat someone to death. My dad was an only child, but my grandmother was once pregnant with my dad's younger brother. When she was 6 months pregnant, someone in construction equipment ran over the car she was driving and she lost the baby. While she was in the hospital, my grandfather found the guy and beat him to death. From what I understand, he was in jail for about a week before he was released. Apparently, he claimed temporary insanity due to the circumstances. I learned all this about 4 years ago when my brother was researching family history and asked my grandfather about it. I've always seen him as a nice, little old man. Just found out the other day that it wasn't my neighbor's dad who senselessly shot and killed my dog. It was his son, who I was close friends with. He did it on purpose. He knew how much that dog meant to me too. I also found out the other day where he lives. He's a meth head now, so I'll just let nature or the police do their thing. So my grandmother has this weird thing where she has to share food with people. Are you ordering steak at the restaurant? Well, oh boy, she's gotta order the same thing even if she doesn't like steak. Try her drink. It's really good. Take the first bite of chicken to let her know if it's any good. This always really annoyed me cause I hate sharing food. One day I brought it up to my mom and she was like, "Oh yeah, Grandma is afraid of being poisoned, so she wants other people to try it first." So let me get this straight. Grandma thinks someone is trying to poison her, so she has me try the food first? And it makes so much sense looking back because she literally would not take a bite of anything she ordered until someone else had a bite first. Thanks, Grandma. Discovered that my sister stole my father's $25,000 Rolex not more than 24 hours after he died. I only discovered it when her and her husband made a frivolous purchase, and I wondered where they got their money since they were always broke and begging my parents for money. I got suspicious. It hit me that she might have stolen and sold the Rolex. Had the paperwork, ran a track on the sales history, and discovered it had been sold to a pawn shop down the street from where my sister lives. Went to the pawn shop and after a bit of persuasion got them to tell me who sold it to them, and it was my sister. Me and my mom disowned her. My former wife and I were having problems. I was certain she was cheating on me. I found her notes where she was figuring out and had added up how much I was worth dead.
I found out that the reason why one of my uncles didn't want to go back to Korea when he retired was that he couldn't. He was fearful for political reprisals if he tried to return. Turned out his brother was part of the group that assassinated the Korean president back in 1979, and his own innocence was never proven, so he was in fear of getting arrested if he ever tried to go back. I just found out my aunt and uncle slept together a few years ago. And somehow my dad is the bad guy for cutting them both off. Edit. For context, they were brother and sister. Not a non-blood related married couple. He was not that close, but he was a friend in our veterinarian, until he lost his license for doing all the ketamine that was supposed to be for the animals. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.